All right, Crystal. So this is episode 1 of In the House. All right, Crystal. So this is episode 1 of In the House, an audio recording, not a podcast.
What's the difference?
That this is just an audio recording, a videoless audio recording, not a podcast.
My podcasts are audio.
Right. And this is an audio recording, not a podcast. So it's similar.
How is it not a podcast?
It's kind of like, you know how there's like creamy peanut butter and then there's chunky peanut butter.
Right.
It's just different. It's kind of like does the same thing, but it's not a podcast. I already have a podcast. I have the CC Mouse podcast with Jess. So this is just an audio recording. I thought we'd hang out and talk about just whatever, our week, stuff that happens behind the scenes for all the RFS stuff.
Okay.
You're like, basically what I did is I just handed Crystal a microphone right now.
Yes. No pressure.
No pressure.
No pressure.
No pressure. No time to go to the bathroom.
Yeah, right. I'm not ready.
There's no getting ready. This is just it right now.
Okay.
Pretty easy, right?
So far?
We're sitting on the couch. If you guys know the layout of our house, we're sitting on the couch. Crystal's got a cat on her lap, as always.
Can you guess which one?
It's Mooch, who's got this swollen eye. He looked like he got punched in the eye. Like he ran his mouth and then he won stupid prizes.
Maybe he squawked one too many times at 3 a.m.
Oh, he could have. I don't know
Maybe
what's
someone
going
took a
on.
swipe. It wasn't me.
It wasn't me either. I was sleeping. I threw the pillow at him the other day because he wouldn't stop squawking, but I don't think that would have caused it.
It doesn't look like a pillow injury.
It doesn't. No.
No, I think you're in the clear.
Also, this is the part you talk into the mic, not the top of the mic.
I was just flopping it around.
We don't have those crazy fancy podcast mics. But there's Mooch with his one eye. I'm mildly concerned. He's probably okay.
Probably.
I'm mildly concerned. And in the background, we have the Olympics on, which I want to get into the Olympics, Crystal. I really like it. I've watched them for probably about a decade now. I've been watching the Olympics, you know?
Yeah.
Even back when we were at cubesmith.com, I'd take my laptop in there and we'd watch the stuff. It's just the last 2 Olympics with nobody being able to be in the audience just seems like almost like pointless.
It's kind of dull. Not going to lie.
We've had it on for a while. We've been watching figure skating, which they've leveled up their figure skating.
They really have.
They really have. They're just it's basically a blur of spins.
It looks very fancy though.
It does.
It looks like dancing.
A little bit. This is the problem I had during the X Games is at some point it was just a big like remember when the cats on Heathcliff would get into a fight and it was just a dirt ball and then a head would pop out and somebody would put it back in or a paw would pop out? It's like that. They're like, oh, they did 4.5 rotations. I can't tell.
Yeah, they're going way too fast to count.
Yeah, I can't tell anymore.
It's just a blur and like, oh, look, he didn't fall when he landed.
You're right. I haven't seen anybody fall yet.
That's the impressive part.
I've seen some almost falls.
Anybody can spin. Not everybody can land.
The other thing that's interesting to me is there's people from around the world, all different nationalities, and they speak different languages.
Yes.
But yet they're all are dancing to English music.
They are, and like bad English music.
Right. They're like, oh, da, da, la. Like, that was like, I don't know, that was German.
Yeah, what was that?
I think I said blah, blah, la, la. I don't know. But yet they're out
Can we roll that back?
They're out there dancing to Katy Perry's Firework.
They are. And lots of 80s music. It's making a comeback with those mom jeans.
It is. You know, as much as I dislike Walmart, they've had some amazing music on it. It was like Sheena Easton was in there and like that like 80s like vibe sound was great.
Well, it sounds better than Target's music.
What was
they
Target
had what was that one cowboy song like it was from
drink don't drive
no not country music, but like the song about being a cowboy. I think it was on like a Taco Bell commercial
it's
once
like
upon a time.
Applebee's
no
gunpoint.
Old
no.
Like I don't know if it was Johnny Cash. I don't think so. I'll have to figure it out. I don't know, but it was bad. It was really, really bad.
Johnny Cash gets you in the mood to like buy stuff at Target.
I don't think it was Johnny Cash. Oh, I'll have to think of what it was.
It was
I can't remember it.
It was straight Bobby Brown with the Ghostbusters 2 song. Too hot to handle, too cold to hold. We are the Ghostbusters and we're in control. You remember that?
Nobody remembers that.
Come on, but they were straight playing that.
You know the words.
Yeah.
How are you judging if you know the words?
Control. Gotta take control because they had to take control.
I can't tell you that I've ever heard that song.
Oh yeah, that was like the Ghostbusters 2 jam.
Apparently, it was your jam.
Is really hard to follow up. Who are you gonna call? Like,
right. That everybody knows that.
To this day. Everybody knows that.
Yes,
so
absolutely.
It's been interesting seeing some of the Olympics. We were watching the snowboarders go down the hill the other day too, and it was just a big blur.
Yes.
And then they land and stuff. So I'm ready for the bobsledding. Was supposed to be tonight, so that's the fun one.
I'm here for it.
Yeah,
I want to watch some bobsledding.
Yeah, the Jamaican bobsled team got you all pumped up again, huh?
Yeah, I'm excited.
That's fine. That's fair. I get it. So we've been watching that. I watched a tiny bit of the opening ceremonies, and I just couldn't do it. I lose interest if I'm not watching something live.
Right.
I lose interest.
I'm kind of interested. You can pretend it's live, no?
Well, it's something in my mind. Like even when I watch a hockey game, I would make you come home and restart it for me and like hit play.
Do you know that sometimes I see notifications on Facebook of high-speed pursuits and they're not live and I don't tell you and I just shoot it to the TV?
Are you serious?
Occasionally.
Are you serious?
Occasionally.
What do I do?
You watch it like it's live. As long as it's a relatively same time of day, you don't know the difference.
Oh.
I guess
I did not know that.
It's all in your head.
Wow, thanks.
You can watch live events that aren't live and pretend it's still live. As long as you don't know the result, it's still live, right?
Yeah, but now I'm going to question it.
And you'll never know.
You know what? I know, but maybe I'm going to start having to check your phone. Like, what are you doing on my phone? What are you looking for? See if that pursuit
Old pursuits
to see if they were live or not. Oh, I did not. I don't
do it a lot, but I've slipped one or two a month, maybe in there.
Wow, things you learn new every day. I did not know that at all.
You look very surprised.
I am very surprised. I am. Oh my
that
gosh.
I would lie to you, or that you would watch a non-live event and believe that it's live and not know the difference.
That you not that you lied, because that's not a lie.
Technically.
I mean, we never discussed it or not.
Right. I never say there's a live pursuit on right now. I just say there's a pursuit on right now.
But what makes you? Do you know that I know that I don't like, or you're aware that I don't like stuff that's not live?
Yes.
So you do it to save my feelings.
Yeah, and to so that you won't be like, oh, it already happened. If anything astounding happened at the end, we'd have heard about it already. Most of them just end with a guy pulls over and lays on the ground and gets arrested.
Right.
But you never know. Sometimes they go joyriding through the golf course,
or they hit cars on their motorcycle and do the world record for cartwheels in the air.
Oh, that was the worst.
Do you get since that's all on tape? Do you think you would get a world record for that? If the most aerial cartwheels is 7,
they don't just hand them out. You have to apply. So someone would have to apply in his honor, and that's just bad taste.
So you're telling me if I high speed pursuited, and I hit the side of a car by motorcycle, and I did 14 and a half cartwheels and the Guinness World Record was 13. I'm 13 and a half or 14.
Is this your dying wish?
Well, no, but you're man, at least I can get Dan a claim to fame. If I'm not going to get a YouTube plaque on the wall, at least I can get a Guinness World Record plaque, because that's it's if
all you die
unedited.
Spectacularly, I will consider the option of submitting your death to the Guinness World Records. I will consider the option.
There was this movie a decade ago called Talking Quarters, the one where Steve Weavy,
two very different things.
The one where Steve Weavy sets the high score for Donkey Kong, right? There was that
Yes.
There was that big old Donkey Kong and Pac-Man high score thing with him and Billy Mitchell.
Oh, silly Mitchell.
I
will never not think of that.
And so in order to get a high score on these games and stuff, on these cabinets have to be looked at by an official scorekeeper, but you can't go to all these events to do it. So sometimes people do it at their house. They have these PCB these boards that are in the arcades have serial numbers. They need to be checked out to make sure the ROM chips are good and stuff like that. A lot of stuff goes into it.
Right.
And this guy had this Hi8 camera pointing down at his arcade machine for Donkey Kong. And he's playing it, and he's getting closer to the high score. And as he's getting the high score and about to set the world record, so once you get the record, you submit the tape into Twin Galaxies. They look at the tape to make sure it's authentic. Sometimes they send somebody out to your house to inspect your arcade cabinet.
Right.
To make sure you're not cheating.
Seems reasonable.
Even
these men take their video game scores very seriously. So it all is right on track.
Right. If I won by cheating that way, I still know at the end of the night.
Right.
I mean, all the hot babes I'm going to get for setting the
the Pac-Man world record.
Pac-Man world record.
How many hot babes do you think he got based on that alone?
It depends on how many blue hot pack pellets I take. Could be a lot. It could be a lot. They get so into it that like the one guy lost the record to Pac-Man to the other dude, and then the same guy got it back by like 10 points and then walked away, so that he barely won, because if you max out the score, then there's no more.
Right, that's the end.
That's the end. So instead of maxing like complete out, he just barely beat that guy's record and stopped and let all his lives go and stuff like that.
Just to keep the competition
Just to
going?
keep the competition going. I wouldn't even be smart enough to do that.
What does that say? That like he could have kept going and gotten an even higher score and had more glory.
Right, because
But
it's going
he
to be
enjoys-
harder for someone else to beat that.
Right, but he enjoys the competition of it so much, and he's very confident in his ability to go back and score 20 more than that if the other guy scores 10 more.
Competition and recognition are two different things.
Right.
Attention are two different things.
Yes.
Because if you remember, this guy's got a John Deere mullet. And
Joe Deerte.
Joe Deerte. Yeah, sorry, John Deerte's that was the
That's
direct,
a tractor.
that was the direct to Amazon sequel. John Deerte.
Right.
And he also, okay, so all the other things that he had was just a hot sauce company. Remember that he Billy Mitchell had a hot sauce company.
Vaguely.
So he didn't really have a claim to fame. So that was his claim to fame. Okay, anyway, so back it up to the guy who's brings us back around to me having Guinness World Record recordings.
Is that where we were going with this?
Yeah, let me bring it back to that. He had his camera on the arcade cabinet of Donkey Kong, and as he's 4 or 5 moves away from the high score, you just hear his kid in the background. Daddy, come wipe my butt! Daddy, I'm done pooping, come wipe my butt! And that's how it was on that record, Chasing Ghosts, maybe it was called. The Steve Wiebe story.
How do you think his kid feels about that? That's his legacy.
Because that's somebody. What if I was just like, look at Crystal, we've been together a long time, and you know my dad, and I'm going to show you how he broke the Donkey Kong world record. And then it's me going like, Dad, come wipe my butt.
I mean, who amongst us who has raised a child has not had our child at some point yell, come wipe my butt?
I mean, I
can relate.
I haven't done that yet. I haven't used that yet. I'm not. It's weird because you're either young enough to use it or you have to be old enough to use it.
Blake was once young enough that he used it, and if we had been making videos back then it might have been caught on a tape.
I would not have taken my GoPro 1 in there to wipe his butt.
No.
Oh, okay.
But if you were filming in the next room and he yelled out that he was done.
Right, but it's like, would you still submit that tape just with your, or would you try to do it again?
I might set that tape aside.
And try to win again.
Let's do it one more time and maybe tell the kid, could you wait till I'm done?
But it's like it's like a special thing that you have to do. You have to some of these games, because there's randomizers, you have to get the right cherries that show up, and you have to get the right combinations. It's out of control. Even the high score on the Pac-Man game, there's a kill screen because it runs out of memory. Right. And half the screen is just jarbled computer talk, like C's and zeros and ones, kind of like Matrix, kind of all blown out, and then the other half you can see half of the board, and you still have to drive that Pac-Man through that side that you can't see from memory, and the points still rack up, and then eventually the game just crashes on itself.
It feels like it should just start back at level 1 again.
With the same score. There's only 5 different boards in Pac-Man, and then after that it's just faster versions of it. So you have to know 5 different patterns, and then after that you just have to try to repeat the pattern.
I'm sure it doesn't, if you're working towards the world champion high score ever, it doesn't take you long, relatively speaking, to get your maps down.
So we did Rubik's Cube tile manufacturing in this big huge warehouse with 3 of us.
Yes.
You, me, and Chris had the Pac-Man machine, and we tried to because we were all into it. We were we had the arcade in there and everything.
Right.
And he would play and learn the boards, and it was so hard where you had to, at one point you had to walk around, and we're talking about Pac-Man again.
Right.
You had to walk around the board with Pac, and you had to get the ghosts to go to a certain direction, because one ghost will try to go ahead of you, one ghost will follow your move, one ghost moves opposite of you, and eventually you can get them all by making these moves all on top of each other.
I can see that. Okay.
And as soon as they're all on top of each other, you eat the pellet and you grab all of them real quick, and then you maximize your score and stuff. Stuff like that.
That makes sense.
So there's a more of amount that I didn't care to. I just wanted to play some Pac-Man. I was like,
I'm not that into it.
Right. So you have to really learn it, and after that, I think it's just a speed run. After that, right?
Right.
And it takes like, I don't know, man, 8, 10, 12 hours. They're like there all day long standing up, you know, like it gets crazy. Like sometimes, not on Pac-Man, but maybe it's Pac-Man. You get enough lives, or it's Donkey Kong, that like I gotta like use 2 lives so I can go to the bathroom real quick. Like,
right.
It's a commitment. It's a commitment that I don't have.
For sure. And I'm wondering what happens. Like, so Animal Crossing came out
right
in 2020, and we got it, and we played the heck out of it, and then I just stopped. And I didn't play it for a really, really, really long time until there was an update. But we're talking Pac-Man, so you're really, really into it. You dedicate your life to it. You're trying to be the best.
You have an original arcade of it. You can't have like a main version where you can play other games. You
Right.
have one big, huge relic in your house.
And what happens when one day you're just like, I don't feel like it?
You don't.
And then you just keep not feeling like it.
You don't. You just keep going. You just keep packing again.
What keeps that going? How are you that into something? A video game. I don't get it.
There's another documentary of this guy that's playing this game on an arcade box at his house, Snape or something like that. It's kind of almost like a Snake game where you know, like where it goes around, like the old Nokia phones and stuff like that. And it's like, to get the world record, you have to go for like 48 hours. And like we watched it. You and I watched it. It was single wide trailer guy. Like, he was a large dude. He had to like stay up the whole time for 2 days. They like Mountain Dew IV'd him.
Of course.
Again, like he'd have to get so many extra lives that he could walk away for a few minutes and get a burrito and come back. And he like was like,
I mean, at that point,
hallucinating.
like, bring him food and put on a diaper. Just, yeah, you definitely hallucinate. But what?
Maybe I should
Put on a diaper?
I've been asking for that forever.
Yeah, that's not happening.
The older I get, the more gaskets are blown out.
Oh,
so
TMI, Dan. TMI.
I'll take a diaper. But maybe I should go for a world record. I don't.
Okay, what do you have in mind?
I don't know, because I have the worst attention span. So we would have to get like an arcade game. Because even like, remember we watched the. Didn't we watch the documentary on the guy that set the Ninja Gaiden speed record? You know, it was the guy with the cowboy hat and stuff.
Yes.
So it could be like a Nintendo game, right? But it has to be like an official game, like, you know.
I've seen you play Nintendo games. You're not that great.
I once was. I'm like that No Fear shirt.
I hear about your glory days, Al Bundy, but I've yet to see you throw a touchdown.
So what is it? The older I get, the better I was?
Yes.
Is that what it was? Yes.
You did one time grab the controller on the final level of Katamari that I was battling and beat it on the first try.
Yeah, you know, we all have our day. Every dog's got its day.
That's the only thing.
Was
but,
that hot though? Like after you did that, were you like,
no, it kind of pissed me off.
That's so hot.
No, it's more disappointing when you talk all this Mario talk, and then I've watched you play Mario. You're not that good at Mario.
I was good. I was good at video games.
But the stories I've heard prior to watching you play were always like
I was so good.
I am good.
They were gonna name Luigi Dan.
Right.
And then they just went with Luigi.
They considered it.
Yeah. They're like, Dan, this could be
But
Dan.
I never heard I was good. I heard I'm really good and I love it and it's my thing and I'm into it. And then I played like the first Super Mario Brothers with you and you weren't
like
that
old
good.
school, like do
just like that.
Like that one?
Yeah.
I think I can do it well. Here's the thing.
You've been playing like Mario Maker lately,
Oh yeah.
like in the last year or whatever.
I was
so,
playing it like a couple days ago.
yeah,
actually.
so you've had a little bit more practice, but
it didn't help.
no,
It didn't. It didn't help. And I'll tell you something.
fair.
I never beat the original Mario. Did you beat the original Mario?
no.
I never.
No,
beat
I didn't
the
get it till
original
way
Mario.
later after Nintendo came out, and I don't think it held our attention span all that long. And I had a brother, so there was never any investing time. There was no pausing it, coming back later, like you, only child.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, no, there was fights about your 10 minutes are up, it's my turn.
Dang.
Nobody wanted to be Luigi.
My player, I didn't even know there was a Luigi. And then when it was the green guy, all I wanted to do was be the green guy. So like my player 2 controller was like brand new.
Tell me more.
It was. So but I was really good at video games, and then Blake came along. Now it's
But
hard
see,
to play.
I feel like a lot of it when you're playing the same game. We're not talking about translating those skills over to new games.
No.
But playing the same game, it's muscle memory. I'm still good at Tetris. I was good at Tetris when I was little, and I'm still good at
But
Tetris.
Tetris never changed. The other day we played the Tetris game. It was called Tetris Remix or It was on Xbox Game
Tetris
Pass.
Rave
and
Party?
it was like
I
a
don't
rave
know.
party Tetris. I'm sure you've seen it. It was like a rave party Tetris. It looked visually rad.
It was horribly distracting.
It looked like we should have been on drugs.
Absolutely,
Like
it would have been much more enjoyable,
like-
although I probably would not have gotten as far, for sure.
You played that game for 45 minutes.
No, I played it for over an hour.
Was it over an hour?
It was definitely
Is it
over
like
an hour.
is it like a curse after a while? It's like, well, I don't want to leave the game, but like I'm sick of loading up UPS trucks.
Kind of like my eyes were getting a little blurry. So regular Tetris is one thing. It's a flat background. It's easy to see. The trick for me to playing Tetris is you don't move your eyes around. You stare at the middle and you use your peripheral vision. So you're constantly focused on one point.
That's some Rain Man shit.
A little bit. But you're focused on one point. With no moving background, it's not a big deal. When the moving background is a laser light show,
and then your moves were going to the beat. It was cool.
Yes, it was. My moves were making the beat.
beats.
Every time I would move a piece, it would make a beat, so it was playing a song.
Otherwise, it was completely Tetris. Like it
Yeah,
was,
absolutely Tetris.
It was Tetris.
But the fact of staring at one point for so long with all that movement, like 3D-ish, where it was coming at you and moving around and pulsating and throbbing and just flashing and so much going on. Oh my god, my eyes hurt and I wanted to be done. But like, I went really far and I couldn't just be like, oh, I'm done. I had to keep going until I couldn't anymore.
You could for a long time.
I did. I went through a ton of levels.
You could be
like well into the 20s with 4 rounds or something. It was a lot.
Why don't you take that on the road?
Oh, because I'm not that good.
Have you seen the Tetris World Champions?
I've seen people that are
stack,
way better than I am at Tetris, and I'm quick.
But we could turn you into the next.
But I don't care.
Silly Bitchel.
I don't care that much.
We can get a Tetris machine.
No.
And you could Tetris until you like hate it. Eventually, you would hate it.
That's what I'm afraid of. Like I said with Animal Crossing, it just becomes tedious. And like, okay, I'm just doing the same thing over and over and over, and I get burnt out. Look at how many half-finished projects I have because I've gotten into something, like devote a bunch of time and resources and build up a stash of whatever craft or thing I'm doing, and then I'm done with that now.
Maybe speedruns. That's the opposite. So instead of playing forever to see how long you can Tetris for, you could do speedruns where they play like Mario 64 and they speedrun. They're half jumping through the walls.
That doesn't look like fun to me.
And it doesn't.
That gives me anxiety because I need to stop and think. I'm a planner. I've got to plan every move.
It's all like muscle memory and like craziness.
Yes, and know like how many beats of time you have to wait to press the button.
And the restart button, a lot of restart buttons.
Yeah, those, even just watching people do that gives me anxiety.
So, yeah, apparently I'm not setting any car crashing world records. We'll take it all the way back to that.
All the way full circle.
All the way full circle.
But if you die spectacularly, I do promise to consider submitting your manner of death to the Guinness World Records.
Right. I guess I could just make sure nobody else has a game show with a mohawk.
Like you want me to trademark that?
Yeah, you could.
Why don't you? You're alive. Trademarking something you can do while you're alive.
I guess that's true. But remember, people are only appreciated posthumously. And so
posthumously?
Yeah, after they're like post being a human, like they're done being a human. No? Like, I'm a human, and then, like, I'm post-human means, like, it's after I'm done being a human.
Have you ever heard that word said? Have you only read it?
I don't know. Posthumously. I'm like...
Posthumous?
Oh, shit.
And I don't think it means after human. I mean, it might in the Latin translation.
In my head, it does. In my head, it means post-human.
Okay.
I don't know.
You know, I'm never not going to think of that when I hear that word now.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Thanks, Dan.
Yeah, so then, like, afterwards, then people will appreciate it.
Okay.
Not now. There's still room for more mohawks.
Do you think YouTube's going to last forever?
You know what? Yeah, because Google owns it.
Fair enough.
So it's one of those things where it's like you see proprietors that just keep sinking money into their, like, dying shops just to, like, keep
One
it
day
going.
Facebook will buy it?
You know, maybe so, yeah. Maybe so. I don't know if anybody else could come along and crush YouTube.
No.
Pornhub was the only lead runner for a while because they have their own infrastructure and their own video hosting system and stuff, and they're insanely huge. Nobody talks about like how the top 10 sites on the internet are all adult sites. So they
totally believable.
They could compete because they could have their own infrastructure. So if they made like a non-adult site YouTube,
right,
you know, where it was clean, it was just like whatever they called it like Pornless Hub or whatever, where like, you know, but like it would just be a non-adult site. They would have the knowledge to be able to do it, but I don't think anything's gonna bump off YouTube. I think short form content's gonna come and go just like it came and went already once back in the early 2000s.
Oh,
I might be wrong, but I think that'll come and go, and then it'll be back to long form content again. I think YouTube's doing okay. Like they'll just find better ways to like make more money.
Right. Okay, I could see that.
Yeah. Speaking of that, I was at the grocery store the other day, and I do all the grocery shopping now pretty much. Even yesterday on a Sunday, I was like, if you write me a list, I'll just run to the grocery store.
So handy.
How come you didn't want to go? And how did because you always want to go to the grocery store.
I do, but I had a lot of stuff to do yesterday.
You haven't this last year.
I had to wash my shoes.
Yeah, that was weird. I came back from the grocery store and I was like, what are you doing, Cinderella?
I had to wash my shoes. I have Pink Miracle, which after I recommended it to Gavin, he said, oh my God, you're right. It's pink and it's a miracle. You can get it on Amazon and it cleans everything off of your shoes. And it comes with a little scrubby brush. And so when the bottom of your shoe, the rubbery bit around the bottom.
Yeah, like the white rubbery bit like on your hands.
Yeah, but it's only white like on the first 2 days at best.
Right.
And then it's all scuffed up and dirty, and we live in dirty town. You walk through dust and dirt, and it just gets gross. And then I cleaned all my shoes, and they all look brand new again. And that's why I couldn't go to the grocery store.
That is why. Were you working at the mall during the time that those shoe cleaners were there and the kiosk in the mall?
No, I don't remember ever seeing that, but I can tell you my dad for sure got that at one, or like the swap meet or something. And that's where I discovered it. And then as an adult, I'm like, oh, remember we had that stuff, and Jason and I were talking about it, and then I think he reminded me of what it was called, and then I found it on Amazon, and I bought some for me, and I bought some for him, and I sent it to him, and I scream it from the hilltops, if you want clean shoes, get Pink Miracle.
What are you doing at the hilltops?
I stand on top so everybody can hear me.
Is that makeout point over there off the freeway? Is that where you're yelling it from?
Maybe.
What are you doing over there? So I remember at the mall, they would be at the mall, and they would be like, hey, you want your shoes clean or whatever? And then like you'd say yeah, and they would like clean one of the shoe.
Yeah, to get you to buy
just
it.
the one shoe, though.
I remember that being a thing.
Yeah, otherwise you'd walk around with like one dirty sneaker.
Yeah. Life advice. I apologize to anybody who works in one, but just run. Just run from the people in the kiosks.
They're
going to spray you with something. They're going to feed you something.
They're going to curl you or whatever.
They're going to hand you a toy and walk away, and now you're stuck playing with the toy.
Right.
Remember the helicopters?
Yes.
And they'd be shooting. There was like some spinny thing up into the air.
Yep.
The worst.
They would always they were trying to. Last time it was like, do you want a lotion sample? I'm like, like, do I look ashy to you? Also, yes, I would.
Watch out, because they'll just come squirt it on you.
That's fine.
I usually yell, I have allergies, and run.
And they're all, they just leave.
Which, to be fair, I do. I'm gonna start sneezing from whatever you spray. I'm gonna get itchy from whatever you rub on me. No, I gotta go.
It's probably on their cheat sheet. It's just a picture of your head, like a little ginger drawn, and like just don't spray the gingers.
Yes. If skin is paler than this, don't touch. Do not approach.
And then there's the people at the mall that would ask for survey time. Oh, you can make money if you take this survey.
The surveys.
What was on the surveys, Crystal?
Stupid stuff.
Did you do the survey in the mall? Probably.
Yeah.
Because it was on the way to they were on the way between your place in the mall and the food court.
Yes. They spread out everywhere.
They do, huh? And
they had an actual unit in the mall, but then their employees would spread like roaches all over and just chase people down.
Did you? And so you were like, all right, you got caught in their web at least once.
When you work at the mall, I don't know if it's still like this, because I don't know if the mall's the thing that the mall was in like 2000, but like everybody when you work at the mall, and like, oh, that's the dude that works over at. Now I can't think of what the place was called. Spencer's Gifts.
Right.
That was right across from the place I worked, and then I knew that guy, and then, oh, this person works over at the Claire's, and this person works at the Hot Topic, and you just know all the employees. And
yeah, they would always just sleep with every like kiosk and stuff in there.
There was a lot of dating within mall employees. It's its own ecosystem. It is exactly what Mallrats tells you.
Worked at every place. Like,
yes.
This time I worked for this place. That time I worked for this place. You didn't hop around though. You always stayed at.
No, I went from Claire's. I worked at Claire's in our local mall until I became the manager of my own store like an hour away. And then I quit that, and then I started working in another store at Rave, which there was nothing Rave related in there at all. It was just cheap clothing. And then I worked at Beyond the Beach.
You don't want to work at Wet Seal?
No, Wet Seal was the enemy. One time when I worked at Rave, someone from Wet Seal came and worked there.
Wet Seal was like the place that you'd go if you wanted to buy something to be on Sprockets. We're on Sprockets. Now it's time on Sprockets where we dance.
Yes. The Wet Seal girls were the snobby girls.
They were like the girls that were like way above my pay grade.
Yes, they did not mingle with the other mall employees. They were their own entity.
Right.
Yes.
And you were ragamuffin, Crystal.
I'm not a ragamuffin. I was cute back in 2000. I was really cute. And I worked at a cheap clothing store and bought all kinds of cheap clothing.
Is it prestigious to be like the manager of like Claire's?
When you're like 19, 20.
You have a key.
Yeah. I'm a key
Did you have to
holder.
take the money down the hallway to like some?
Yeah, it was Downey Savings back in the day, and you'd take your bag and you'd walk down and drop it in the drop box, which was much better than a lot of places you could have worked. If you're not within a mall or some malls that don't have banks inside of them, you have to go drive that somewhere.
Right.
So it was nice to have it within the bank or within the mall to just walk down, 10 stores and drop it off.
I thought it was cool when, like, when you worked at the mall, there's times where the mall was closed, so everybody was out of the mall.
Yes.
And you're just walking down that aisleway of the mall, the inside of the mall by yourself.
And usually to or from your store before opening or after closing.
And I never thought about that at all until they put a movie theater inside the mall. This was, we were late 90s.
Yes.
And I remember waiting for like a Star Wars movie or something like that.
That was always weird to be there like well after the mall closed.
Yeah, so all the it's like an old, like, imagine for all you kids out there, like a mall from the 80s or 90s, and like all the like silver metal doors are down on all the mall
The
shops.
gates, yes.
But the fountain's still there, and the places inside the mall to sit are still there. You can run around the mall.
But there's nobody in there.
And there's nobody in there.
And it's oddly dim.
Yes.
Like it's not as bright as it was.
It's closed.
Do you know, Dan, that they open the mall doors? They unlock the mall doors at like 6 a.m. and you can go be a mall walker.
I did not know that until I was a lot older, especially at the bike shop. I think they were still doing it when I worked at the bike shop because people would come in and want to buy shoes.
To mall walk?
To go mall walk.
It's a thing.
We didn't have
people
those type of
come
shoes.
daily. People come like Monday, Wednesday, Friday's our day. And they have their little groups and they go like power walk around. And it's old people and like middle-aged, I'm going to get in shape people and stuff. And moms. Walking around with their strollers and stuff.
Yeah, no clue. It was late 90s, and I was with my friends, and they just, like, when you sit outside and wait for the mall to, like, or to the movie theater to open, you could just walk around the mall. There's no stopping you. There's nobody
Do you know
in
that
there.
our mall does not have security? They have actual sheriffs. There are actual policemen. The little station there is not mall security. They are actual on-duty police officers.
Yeah, we need that in our town.
Yes.
And they've always been that, right?
Yes. Oh, yeah, for reals. You could call them and they will like take somebody and go press charges for theft if people steal enough.
Yep. Yeah.
You get charges pressed. They don't like release you and stuff. No, that's a cop right there. They'll throw you in cuffs.
Yeah, their little sheriff's headquarters was right across the street from the arcade inside the mall for a while.
Yes, right around the corner from Claire's.
So I would be inside the mall with my friends, and it's just, I didn't see any. The sheriffs are gone. They're not there at like midnight. Like they're gone. And we just walked around the mall unadulted. We had bouncy balls from the quarter machines that were in there, and just as hard as we could, we're smashing these bouncy balls on the ground.
I'm sure there was some security or cops there. If the doors are unlocked, somebody's there to keep it secure.
Yeah, we were trying to hit the glass ceilings on the top.
Did you come close?
Yeah, and I'm like, this is like, how do they let us walk around the mall like that? And then we'd go, we'd go wobble over back into the line until it was time to go watch whatever midnight movie we were going to go see in the mall.
Right.
In the mall and stuff like that. Anyway, okay, so back to me being at the supermarket while while Crystal's cleaning her shoes. So I go to the supermarket and I grab the handful of things we need, and I walk to like the 15 or fewer, because they changed all the less now. It's not 15 or less anymore.
Because that's improper
It's
English. 15
or fewer. So I'm like in the 15 or fewer line, and I go sneak into the line. It's nice because everybody's so dang slow at the store. And this was on like a Thursday. This wasn't the Sunday we went, because I go like 2 or 3 times a week,
right,
to the supermarket. But like I go during the like morning time when people don't have a conventional job, so they're either off that day. Because before I got like this job at the job at the bike shop, I only ever worked a Monday through Friday job from 8 to 5 or 7 to 4 or whatever. It was always a Monday through Friday job.
Right.
So,
when you get off work and go to the store with everybody else.
Yeah, right. So I never bumped elbows with anybody that was like on a different schedule.
Right.
Whether they were raising kids, whether they were like, I don't know, whether they're stay-at-home people, or whether they had jobs that worked the weekend, so they were off on a Tuesday or a Wednesday.
Right.
Most of the time in the mornings, it's moms.
Yes.
It's moms and like doubtfires. It's moms and doubtfires.
Moms and grandmas.
Moms and grandmas. Not very many dudes, if any. It's usually moms or grandmas, right? So I'm in line behind grandma. And grandma's like, I don't know, she looks like Blanche or whatever. She just, no, yeah.
Do you know which one is Blanche?
I I would put her on Rose's body with an Estelle Getty hair. Like, you know, she was gray.
Right.
She looked like she could have sold you a potion. So she was in front of me with like, she had like 4 or 5 different like trays of meat, like the styrofoam tray with the uncooked meat, how they're saran wrapped, you know. But they were like round cylinders, and you can see like 2 bones in them, like almost like if you were to cut off my ankles and cut off my like knee at the kneecap, like it was like I don't know, they were just like tubes of flesh, whatever.
Okay,
and
that
she
sounds
looks
appetizing.
at me and she starts talking about the weather, like, oh, it's been cold out and stuff. I'm like, oh yeah. I was like, look at me, like I had my beanie on and stuff like that. And she's all like, you know, like I like to get out and go do my shopping because all I do is stay home in my nightgown all day. And I said, oh, me too. And, you know, I'm just like, whatever. I talk to everybody.
Right.
So now I'm talking to the oldies, which I help all the time at the store. I'm always like grabbing stuff down off the top shelf for them, or, you know, they'll be sitting in their little like race car, and then I'll be like, you want something from up there?
You do.
So I do. Yeah. So
Yes.
So I was, you know, I like to help out. So she's like, I'm buying all this meat, and it was expensive. I could see each pack said like $10 or $11, and there was like 4 or 5 packs in there. She's like, I'm buying all this expensive meat for my church. What she called it, like a church get together,
Like a potluck?
It was more like, I think they were gonna serve it up to people.
Okay.
Yeah. So I was like, oh, that's cool. I said, you got a lot of cooking ahead of you, because it's all small talk, right?
Right.
And she's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna make this up, and they're gonna be so happy, and it's gonna be so great. And then she loads her stuff out of her car onto the conveyor belt, which I love. I love the conveyor belt.
Do you?
And then I put my stuff on the conveyor belt too. And then she started talking to the lady at the register all about how she was making it for her church and everything. And don't load the bags up too heavy because I have to carry this and get it in my car. And the lady was just checked out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not
It's crazy.
interested?
It's like you can tell like when they're hustling and when they're not is when you have like those vampire like sharp long nails.
Right.
And you work in the cash register. It's like
They're not terribly conducive to grabbing groceries and punching in numbers.
not so much, right? So then the old lady gets her stuff in her cart and she starts trekking it off to the right and to go out to the store to her car. And then my stuff's on there and bloop, 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 bloop. And they're scanning stuff. And it's supermarket sweep every time I try to go to a store. It's like, how fast can I get it into my bag while I'm also trying to punch in our phone number so they can give us whatever digital discounts that are later.
Right.
Which work out pretty well, right?
They do. They take them right off of there.
you
You
get
don't even have to load them anymore.
I know, right? So I'm trying to do that. I'm trying to dial. I'm trying to like, it's like using a phone. I'm trying to
Right.
use a phone and put my credit card in at the same time and trying to make sure they charge me correctly, which I don't know. I guess they have lately.
It's a lot. Grocery shopping, I think, is an absolute skill. And when you first started working from home, you did not have that skill.
I love the fact that I know everything and where my grocery store is. Every now and then, instead of asking somebody, I call you up. Crystal, where's this at? Crystal, look this up for me. It'd be so much easier to, A, look it up on my exact phone that I have unlimited data now.
Right.
with, or there's Wi-Fi. Or B, ask an employee.
But I appreciate that you call me to find out. Sometimes 5 or 6 times in a store trip.
Yeah, right. So,
But I always know where things are. Even if I don't know it, I can look it up.
I'm pretty good. I know where everything is in the store now.
But you didn't used to.
I didn't.
Remember
used
how
to.
bad it was in the beginning, and you would call me constantly and you didn't know where anything was, and I'd be like, the first frozen aisle, halfway down, left side on the bottom.
Well, that's because there was 4 things in the store. All the way to the left is the beer.
Right.
Then a little bit not as far to the left, like leftish, was the potato chips.
Right.
And then there's frozen food in the middle, and then Blur. And then all the way to the right is like where all the fresh stuff is.
I absolutely believe that's exactly how you
that's how it
visualized the grocery store
now-
before you did regular shopping.
But now I know where everything's pretty much at, because sometimes it's different. Like cans aren't all where all the cans are. Like the canned vegetables aren't next to the cans of like fruit, or the cans of vegetables aren't
they
next to
are.
the cans of like Mexican food. Like
Sometimes they have specific areas that supersede the general category.
Right. So it's not just like, here's where the cans go and here's where the cold stuff goes and here's where the frozen stuff goes.
Like you can find your jalapenos and your pepperoncinis with the salad dressing, but if you want any other kind of chili pepper of any sort, you've got to go to the international foods aisle.
Right. So I've learned that now. So I'm pretty good. I'm pretty good at that. I can get through the supermarket pretty fast. And it's
Yeah.
fun. It gets me out of the house so I don't go crazy.
I don't know how you manage to go 2, 3, sometimes 4 times in a week. That makes me crazy. And when I was in charge of grocery shopping, it was once a week and that was it. And if we forgot it, we forgot it. Sorry, we'll get it next week.
It happens. There's lots of motivational reasons to it. One, McDonald's is right there.
Yes.
We can get to that in a little bit. And then 2, like, I got to get out of this box.
That's fair.
I'm an extrovert. I'm a big time extrovert.
Your doctor did tell you needed more vitamin D.
Yeah, but like he winked at me when he said it. So I don't know what he was trying to get at. I don't know if he was like wanted me to like handle that right there or what. I don't know.
He was trying to get you to leave and go outside.
But sometimes I just want to get out. Or sometimes like Jess will call me and like we'll yap on the phone and it's like, oh, I'm gonna at least like keep my hands busy. You know, I'll put my headphone in like so I can hear her talk.
So you're that guy that walks around the grocery store on the phone? Because I hate that
No,
guy.
I'm not, because I'll end up sitting in the car if we get there and do it. No, usually it's I pull up, I'm like, all right, I'm here now, I'll catch you later, like, you know.
Okay.
You know, but no, I usually don't. The only one I usually talk to is you, and I kind of talk it on a whisper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One time I made you FaceTime me to look at avocados and you seemed really uncomfortable.
It was weird because like I'm a like I don't want voyeurism is seems like funky. I will always peek through my hands person.
Right.
And a lot of times I'm at the store and if a dude's there, especially a bro dude, half the time he's on FaceTime with his girl. One time the big brother man was at the ice cream area. And then I can see his boo on the FaceTime on his camera while he was talking about ice cream, and she had her like pink hat, like
with her curlers in.
Yeah, with her curlers in, and it was just that nose up shot of her like there, like
the most unattractive angle.
Right. So I'm gonna always look.
Right.
And then so like I feel, and you know what it is too is like just the first time I'm unlimited data. I've never, as much as I've recorded in public and stuff, I've never like truly like FaceTimed in public. And
right, it is weird.
But I have my headphone in and I'm kind of whispering, so now I seem like I'm on a mission. I don't know, it just seems
right
weird.
Like you're reporting back to headquarters.
Yeah, it seems weird to me.
You kind of were,
because I think one time I did that when you wanted to pick out the right avocados.
Yes.
So because we were trying to make guacamole and I didn't have the right avocados.
Yes.
But so that did feel weird. I will.
Yeah, you seemed visibly uncomfortable.
I don't know why.
I was trying to make
everybody
it
at the store knows who I am.
You're also very like, oh my god, sorry. When you're at the store, every time I'm on the phone with you, like I imagine you're just bumping into people left and right because you're constantly apologizing.
I don't know. I'm not like I'm not like that. It's not like pinball.
That's what it sounds like when I talk to you.
But I'm always over apologizing for I don't know why. Like sorry I exist.
Pretty much. That's what it sounds like.
Sorry I bumped into your car. If my dad just would have pulled out, I wouldn't have had this problem at all. I wouldn't just not be here. I'm so sorry. I know I'm so bad. I'm so bad at that.
Yeah.
I'm so bad at that. But I have learned the grocery store way. I know prices of stuff, which
you constantly complain about food prices.
It's just that like that's not what it was last time. It hurts my feelings. I take it so personally.
It's funny because like 2 years ago, I tried to explain to you that you only buy chicken breast when it's on sale, and you buy like as much as you're going to eat until the next time it's on sale, within reason.
But now it's never on sale anymore.
You would buy it for like $5 a pound, and I would get so mad. Like, why are you spending $5 a pound when sometimes it's $1.99 a pound? And you're like, it's cool, it's just one chicken breast. But now you're all angry because it's never on sale anymore.
Now I've been around the sun a couple times where I've seen all the sales and all the nuts, which right now it's clucking ridiculous for chicken. It is still $4.99 for a pound. Yeah. It is not going down anytime soon.
I keep eating that free pork I got.
I know, right? I know. So I have learned, though. It took a while, but I have learned. But lately, everything's been a little bit higher.
You did pay $5 for a gallon of milk the other day mistakenly. You got the wrong milk, and you got $5 milk.
Like they were stocking. The lady had like every refrigerator door open on the back wall. You know where the eggs and the butter and the sour cream and the sweet cream and the yogurt,
all the meltables, all the
and then milk
things that can rot.
And then she had every one of them wide open, and they had like 20 boxes out instead of just doing one at a time. And they're putting stuff up there, and I did a drive-by.
No, you've got to remind yourself.
I grabbed the green label.
These are my ingredients. These are my things I'm taking home to my house. I'm going to take a minute and find the one I want. And if the person is standing there and doing something, then that's when you say, excuse me.
I'm nice to them.
That's when you apologize and say, excuse me, Dan.
And I was like, well, I swooshed by, because I read the cart a lot. I swooshed by, I grabbed the green label, because that's what we get. We get the green label. I grabbed the green label, and then off I went. I didn't realize it was $5, so I got home, and Crystal was just like, what is up with this cow juice?
I only had to bring it up because one time you got milk at Target and it was $5, and
Don't
we
buy
had a discussion.
anything edible at Target.
There are a few things. Their Nature Valley granola bars go on sale quite often and are reasonably priced.
They're like
Ben and Jerry's.
open area in the middle with their fruit and their weird stuff on the sides scare me.
But they do have a lot of stuff that you can't find elsewhere. And certain things are a good price. And you have to remember, we just have a Target, not a super Target with a whole grocery section.
That's right.
So we just have bits and pieces.
We do go to Super Target every now and then. It's far from here.
Yes.
But when we do, it's fun. They have the nicest shopping carts of all of the.
They do. They still feel brand new.
They do.
Remember when it first opened and they were super brand new and it felt like riding a cloud?
It was great. It was like I felt like it was like top shelf Target.
Yes.
It was like
it felt fancy.
Yeah, it was super fancy. They had sushi there. The last 3 times.
And you weren't afraid to buy it?
The last 3 times I've been there, there's no sushi no more.
No.
No.
Is it degrading slowly over time?
Yeah, I was sad. I was like, darn, this sucks. So I was checking out and I load up my bags and I start like white girl walking, like briskly walking out of the store.
Right.
I tried to not look at any more chicken Dans because they're still there.
You can't have another one.
They're still there. I'm waiting for them to go on clearance.
No, you don't need any more.
And I get outside the door and grandma's there, church grandma.
Right.
And she's like almost to her car and she's parked kind of by me. So
did you go put her groceries in her car?
I go and I walk by and I was like, can I help you load the groceries and stuff up? Which I would have clutched my purse and been like, get out of here, kid. Like, why are you at the store at Thursday at like 10 and maybe it was like 9 in the morning. I remember I went the day like you left for work like right at 8.
Right.
And then I came inside, I fed the cats, I drank my smoothie, I put on underwear.
Thanks, Dan.
I found my outside shoes and then off I went. And if I go early enough, it blocks me from McDonald's because I don't like McDonald's breakfast.
Right.
It's like
so that's the plan. I've got to get you to go early in the morning to stop eating McDonald's every day.
10:30 is the cutoff. Well, they built a car. I fed the cats. I drank my smoothie. I put on underwear.
Thanks, Dan.
I found my outside shoes and then it is in the house, an audio recording, not a podcast.
Not a podcast.
Crystal, we're on like episode 7 of this.
No, we're not. It's episode 3.
3? You sure?
3.
Sure we haven't done 7 episodes?
I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty good at counting. Have you heard me?
Okay, I'll take your word this time. Oh my gosh. You're going to write that out for longer than Carrot Top's shtick.
Maybe.
Oh, man.
I've always done that, though.
Crystal has 3 cats on top of her.
Not on top of me, just within arm's reach.
I mean, like, you're surrounded by cats like the president's surrounded like Secret Service.
Yes. But you know what?
What?
It's not enough and I need more.
Oh, my gosh. The kitty has made her exit from the bedroom finally.
She's made her triumphant return to the living room.
Is that what you want to call it?
That's what I'm calling it.
Don't call it a comeback.
She's taking it back.
She is. She's out here hanging out. We haven't seen her out here in, since Topo showed up.
Yeah, literal years. And she just decided this week it's time.
She whoops off on Topo, too, so I don't understand what the problem is.
She doesn't even have to. She just, punks him, takes a step towards him, moves her shoulders forward a bit, and then he just runs.
And he runs and goes sliding Breakfast Club style down the hallway.
Breakfast Club style?
Yeah, isn't that when they all went sliding around the corners?
Maybe.
I think so.
I always think of Risky Business.
You would, you pervert.
What?
But yeah, you're underneath a harem of cats.
Yes, we're all sharing the warm blanket.
I'm sitting here drinking tea with a box of Thin Mints that I haven't seen in a long time.
Yeah, we got free Girl Scout cookies delivered to work today. It was amazing.
I know, huh? The package, ironically, is also just as thin. 4 cookies is 160 calories. When I opened it up, 4 cookies fell into my mouth.
You might be opening them wrong.
Oh my gosh. If you know the story, I haven't had Thin Mints that many times in the last 15 years or so, ever since the Thin Mint.
A little PTSD. Thin Mint.
Yes. The Thin Mint in it. And I'll recap real quick. There I was having a great day.
Oh, jeez.
There I was.
Way back in 2004. Picture it.
Was
Long Beach.
Was it 2004?
2004. Give or take.
Maybe a few years after that. I was at a comic book convention, soaring high on my nerdgasms, full happiness. I come walking in to Nanda's house down in Long Beach. And I'm like, hey, to regale you with my nerd stories of how I saw Kevin Smith.
Because everybody was waiting for it.
How I stood in line with the guy that drew X-Force and to get pizza, right next to the guy that played the Hulk, he had to stand in line for pepperoni pizza as well.
Yeah. Did you get to stand in line next
if you were Lou Ferrigno, you are no better than I when it comes to the commissary line.
There's no pizza delivery at the Comic-Con?
It was like, how like there's like the roll up gates and then like there's like the food hole.
Right.
And like the main food hall at like Long Beach Comic Con, I think it was Long Beach Comic Con, was just like everybody that wanted to eat had to go out there, and there was the Hulk in all his glory standing there in line, tried just to get a pizza.
It's hard times.
I would at least have somebody to bring me a pizza. Like, could you?
Yeah, right.
Well, who are you gonna ask?
You don't
the
have
guy?
like a little brother you can bring or something. I mean, I've got a Dan.
No, but
I can
I'm
make him go fetch me a pizza.
I think if I remember right, Danny Bonaduce had the booth next to him.
So he did have a Dan.
Are you gonna ask? Are you gonna ask him?
I mean, what's Bonaduce doing lately?
Oh my gosh!
Really?
You want to know what he's really doing lately? Oh my gosh! I ran across him on TikTok the other day.
Oh no, he's still relevant?
Danny Bonaduce on TikTok right now is unwillingly, and you can barely understand him.
You could barely ever understand him.
He is unwillingly going into like old bookstores or old record stores.
Unwillingly?
Like unsolicited, and I'll explain.
Okay.
He's going into these bookstores or these old school, like, do you remember like Popcorn Video and stuff like that, like those like hole in the wall like places that were like a record store or like a little tiny privately owned bookstore,
right?
And they don't look like they get too much business, and he's going in there and finding the Partridge Family like albums and stuff, and he was autographing them. He's like, here I am outside of Beechwood and Pine at the Popcorn Video. We're gonna go in here and see if we can find some of our stuff. And he goes in there and he finds like old like Partridge Family stuff, and he's like, this is gonna do it right here. And he's like autographing it and then putting it back in there for like people to find. And like, that's
does he
all
get chased out, sir? Sir, please stop vandalizing the merchandise because nobody knows who he is.
Do you have a TikTok? Do you have your TikTok?
I think I do.
You have to see this. So it's
I neither tick nor talk.
And
but...
here's the thing about Dan Bonaduce. He was obviously from Partridge Family fame, a child actor growing up. But then like that was still a little bit old for us.
Yes.
But he made us come back again and on the reality TV circuit, like on VH1, like in the early 2000s. And that's where we saw him again, just having meltdowns. He was on the radio for a while, having meltdowns and stuff like that. He was like, I think he was on Celebrity Rehab and stuff like that. It was like not the business. Crystal, did you find any of his?
He looks terrible.
Yeah, so he's going into these places. Crystal's watching one of the TikToks now. He's grabbing the Partridge Family record store at this mom and pop record shop, and he's autographing it and putting it back in. And that's the video. That's all the video is.
Is that him, the dark-haired one?
Which one? No,
with the long hair.
He's that little tiny one on the bottom.
Oh,
that was
okay.
David Cassidy, I think.
Oh, so he was the.
He wasn't the main guy.
Oliver.
He was the I mean,
Oliver?
he was the little redhead, but like he was always there. But he was the young one. He wasn't like the Greg Brady. I think that was David Cassidy, I think.
But he's still trying to ride this fame and just milk it.
Yeah, like look, click on his like like right above like to subscribe where you can see all his videos.
Please don't accidentally
it's
click subscribe.
All the same thing. He's like always outside some sort of like unsolicited. He's going into these places. Would you be stoked if he came into your little mom and pop shop while you were selling your little records and he grabbed the Osmond record
I
out?
mean, I guess so, because then it would be worth more, right?
Could I get mad enough that I could be like, that's vandalism?
I mean, technically it is, and he's not really recognizable.
Right. So can I be like, I don't care if you're on there. It does not give you a right. It doesn't give you a right to just like grab my art or grab my vinyl and start like tagging all over it.
But in theory, it's now worth more money, right? In theory. To the right.
But like
buyer.
The one I own is unmolested by Danny Bonaduce. Right?
But I think autographs make things worth more. He's pulling decent numbers.
Yeah?
He's got 80,000 followers, and 4 videos ago he got 425,000 watches.
Dang, that's
at Half
crazy.
Price Books in Tukwila, Washington.
Right, but you know what I'm talking about? Like, look at that sign. It's like, it looks like a liquor store. Like, is
it
next
really
to
does.
It. Yeah, and he's going into these places, and this is where he's rolling it out on the counter.
You know that at least half of the people listening have no idea who we're talking about.
Yeah, well, you know.
Just want to point that out.
Anyway, so he was gonna have to get Lou Ferrigno his pizza, which is the guy who played the Hulk in like the '70s Hulk show. So anyway, so I come walking in the front door, all
back to Thin Mints.
excited about Comic-Con Day. Like I was really excited. I come walking in and I look over, and just like the Brady Bunch, another old reference, out of just nowhere, here comes this Thin Mint. Wham! All I look over and it's just like, it's like getting flashbanged. It's like getting flashbanged in a video game. Woo!
Oh my god! I love how this story has evolved over the decade and a half since it happened.
Oh my nose! Like I'm like barely in the door for seconds, and come to find out, I was so disoriented. I had no idea what was going on, and I'm like, what was that? Like, are we under attack again? Like I thought maybe we needed to start rallying the troops. I didn't know what was going on, and come to find out, I was
the ultimate injustice.
I was assaulted by a frozen Thin Mint that came out of the freezer where things get frozen.
Yes.
So that was premeditated.
Oh, she was drunk. You don't premeditate things when
I
you're
don't
drunk.
know. Nana just like, and it was perfect. It came in like a frisbee.
The only time she's ever thrown anything was so on point in her
Lights
life.
out. And my nose was wrecked. It like, you couldn't visually see anything wrong with it.
There was literally nothing wrong with it.
But like, it didn't work right.
Its feelings were hurt.
No, but it, like
That's
maybe
what it sounds like to me.
Maybe mine were a little bit.
Definitely for like 8 years after.
Oh,
I mean, we're still talking about it now, so.
But like for a long time after, my smeller was broken. Like it broke something in my nose, so I couldn't smell right because everything smelled weird. For a long time.
I still don't know if I believe this.
For a long time.
I don't know if I believe this.
So I like every time I would get around Thin Mints, I'd start muttering like an old man.
You still do. I'm surprised you even took the box today.
So a long time's passed now, and I've made my peace with the Thin Mints. And since then, they've
Have
gotten
you?
smaller.
They have.
Or like Jess says, because I was complaining about this McMuffin I had like a couple weeks ago. Like they're smaller. She's like, no, you're just older and bigger now. It's like
That's what they want you to think.
Right. It's not like I had a McMuffin 40 years ago. Like this was a handful of years ago.
Shrinkflation is real. I was quite disappointed this year when I opened the Girl Scout cookies to find how few were in each package.
Look how happy they are on the box there.
They're very happy.
I mean, even
they
on the
get
back,
all the Thin Mints they want.
I know. Look at they're standing outside of the store right now. That's all the money you gave them. Like, look at them. They're like, go take the money. Yeah. So I have these all to myself. Nobody else likes mint stuff in the house. So I have that with a mug full of peach tea that'll be cooled off by the time I'm done
mint,
talking. Huh? Yeah. I don't know. I'm gonna try it.
All right.
I'm gonna try it. But okay, so anyway, so I had a couple of these Thin Mints and I thought they were pretty good.
I don't like them, so I can't even weigh in.
It's okay. So I don't really have. Remember the last couple weeks I've had grocery store stories.
Yes.
So I don't really have like nothing really happened. Everything like went without a problem at the store this week. But
did you do a good deed that you need credit for? Because I feel like that's what we're here for.
No, but
Dan's good deed corner.
I have this piece of paper here, right?
Oh no.
And what happened is that when I grabbed the shopping cart, somebody left their old grocery list in the cart.
Oh jeez.
And like I never knew like there was a voyeur side of me when it came to like supermarket things.
Was this at a supermarket or was it at Walmart?
And it was
that's a different game.
It was at Stater Brothers, the supermarket.
Okay.
At the market. But like now I have this kick for like seeing what people put on their grocery list. There's been a few times where I've seen them on the ground and I'll like peek down like out of the corner. I won't even just like commit. I'm like looking out of the corner of my eyes like, ooh, do they need milk too? Like, I don't know what it is.
You just need, because you don't leave the house on a daily basis, you just need to feel some sort of connection with another human being by knowing that you both put milk on your shopping list. You don't even drink milk.
I don't. That reminds me, when I was filming that video where the floor is lava and there's a shot of me at the end coming out of the supermarket on the shopping cart. I wrote it all the way down to the car.
Right.
So, obviously I had to go out of the store. I had to set up the camera across the street. I had to run back across, hit record, run back across the street.
With the cart?
No.
I left my groceries unattended?
Yeah, I left it by the trash can.
Dan.
I know, right? This is the price you have to pay.
You're going to lose grocery shopping
I have
privileges.
Screen Actors insurance.
You don't, though.
Those
They don't cover groceries.
The groceries are now stunts and props.
No, that's food that I have to eat.
So the whole time, like, it's leaning up against a bush that's right next to the very first spot across the street, which would be like the handicap spot. So there's a dude in the van in there with his windows rolled down, just staring at me, just watching me run across the street, put the camera there, lean it on an angle, hit the record button, run across the street. When I say the street, it's like the strip in the parking lot. Right when you come out of the
lane
store.
to drive in front of the store.
Right, wherever we're like there. It's like the purge. There's no rules.
No
rules at all.
No, they might stop for you. They might not.
I was at the Aldi the other day, and the person went to the door of the Aldi and was like already backing out. By the time I got there, like they drove the person to the doors.
Huh? Will you drop me off at the door next time we go to Aldi?
So then I grabbed the shopping cart, and inside there, whoa, is this yellow piece of paper, which is somebody's list.
What's on the list, Dan?
So here's the thing. I want to see how many things.
You brought home somebody else's germs?
They seemed clean enough. Like their writing was, I judged before I picked it up. I was like, do they have good writing? They had clean writing.
You don't know where that's been.
It's clean though. It's got clean writing. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 items, 10 items on here. Some of them we're never gonna get.
Oh, you want me to guess what's on this list?
I want to see how many of these 10 items that you can guess that's actually on here. And I can give you like maybe 1 or 2.
Well,
like,
let's
hints.
go with much how on Wheel of Fortune they'll always give you RSTLNE.
Mm-hmm.
Although I remember.
Which that's not even a word.
I'm old enough to remember when that wasn't a thing and they added it because the letters that everybody picked were always RSTLNE because they're the most common and they'll get you the closest to the answer.
Which isn't a word.
It is not a word. It's just the most common letters. So, in the spirit of that, let's go with milk, eggs, bread, cheese.
Milk is on here. Bread's not on here. Cheese is not. Nope. Only milk.
What? No eggs?
No eggs. They have eggs. They have eggs.
Lettuce or salad of some sort.
Salad is actually on here.
Nice. How about hamburger?
Like meat?
Like ground meat of some sort.
No.
No? I don't know. I don't know what other people eat. Carrots.
Yes. No, carrots is here.
Nice.
Yes, carrots is on here.
Did I already say cheese?
You did say
That
cheese.
was part of my
you did
first
dairy.
list.
You did dairy stuff.
Okay. So there's no more dairy items. How about some cereal? Is there some cereal on that list?
They did not like cereal.
No, they might have just had enough. Maybe they bought it by the torso like some people do. You don't know.
There's some more dairy stuff on here.
Oh my gosh. I thought there wasn't.
Well, it's reintroduced.
Coffee creamer?
Close. We'll go with coffee. Coffee's on here.
That's not close at all.
That's close. It's the word coffee.
Coffee was going to be my next guess.
Coffee's on here.
I think I'm fresh out of guesses. I don't know what else people buy. Like toilet paper maybe? Do people buy toilet paper at the grocery store? I don't usually.
No, you don't like to like shit where you eat. Is that where that came from? Is that where that saying came from?
I don't think so. I mean, like, height of pandemic when you couldn't find it anywhere, I most certainly bought toilet paper at the grocery store, but it tends to be cheaper at the, drugstore.
All right, so let's look here because this is riveting.
What do we got?
Sprouted bread.
What does that mean?
I don't know what sprouted bread means. What do you think sprouted bread is?
I have no idea. I'm gonna have to Google
get to look
that.
at sprouted bread.
What is sprouted bread? What do you think it is? Give me some sort of.
I don't even know. Like, it can't be sprouts. It can't be the merge of two words, which was what I instantly go to. Sprouts and bread. But
well, when I type in sprouted, bread is the first autofill.
I don't even know.
Oh, that's some healthy stuff.
It's probably taller than wide loaf. It's not made out of sprouts, is it? Does it look like it's just like the top of the Survivor house? Like, as the bread just like all tied together?
Sort of. It's a type of bread made from whole grains that have been allowed to sprout, that is, to germinate before being milled into the flour. So the grains were growing into new plants, and then they made bread out of it.
That thing looks bulletproof.
It does not look appetizing at all.
It looks like it's like in the rye bread family.
That's why apparently they have to put it in this package called Dave's Killer Bread.
Oh, is that from
and
Dave's
Dave's
Killer
playing
Bread?
a guitar because
Okay,
they got to make
yeah.
it look tough.
Yeah, that's been around for a minute. Okay, so it's a 5-pound thing of bread. So we have
a
sprouted,
5-pound thing, but it's only 10 slices.
It's 10 slices. It's sprouted bread, coffee, salad, crab meat, dressing ?
Maybe they weren't sure if
They weren't
wanted.
sure. I don't know if this is all going together for one meal. Milk, potato-y.
Wait, it's potato with an E at the end,
Yeah.
and then in parentheses *2.
Right, this is
Wouldn't
what
it have
happened
been
to,
more efficient to just add the S since you didn't need the E anyway?
Didn't this potato thing happen to Dan Quayle?
It did.
What happened? Did he not? Potato is potato.
Yes.
And he put the E at the end.
And then I think when you pluralize it, you add the E. I'm going to get it wrong, and I'm going to be Dan Quailed.
Oh, nobody knows who Dan Quayle is.
No.
Nobody knows who Dan Quayle is. So you got carrots, but the carrots were paired with hummus, which I'm not a big carrots.
Some people eat carrots and hummus.
I have tried it before, like at the parties and stuff like that, and
Right.
I prefer it with like the hummus bread.
Yes.
Or some
pita bread or
cucumbers,
pita
something.
chips.
But yeah,
I like
carrots
my
and
hummus with a bread product.
Salmon question mark
They weren't sure. Maybe they wanted to see if it was going to look good.
and Greek yogurt. It's not a bad combo. I don't know about that sprouted bread. That was heavy. I would try it, but that was heavy.
Sprouted bread and coffee. Breakfast of champions.
Crystal and I were having this conversation earlier about. I asked Crystal like, "Hey, like, if I could lay eggs, would you eat the eggs like an omelet? Like, okay. So in this scenario, like, it's pretty normal as far as like,
Is it?
well, because like, look, like we don't bat an eye on chickens laying eggs and eating that. Like, we don't even think about it. We just do it, right? So like in this scenario, it's like, you know, I lay an egg. We're all laying eggs. Like I'm laying eggs, and like maybe even like your ex-boyfriend laid eggs, and like everybody lays the eggs.
Hey, Dan.
Yeah.
Where do the eggs come out of?
Well, like the egg hole.
Where's your egg hole?
Like, you know, where my is.
Yeah, I'm
So-
not eating your eggs.
No, but like it's a different freeway. So
Still not eating them.
I have eggs, and then it's like we gotta like do something with the eggs. Could you?
I'm throwing them at you.
Would you eat a human egg omelet?
No.
This sounded way better. Did
it?
I don't know.
No. It was just as bothersome when you were trying to discuss it out loud in Target.
The eggs would be big, so it's like we could have like a big breakfast.
No.
But then what are we gonna do with them?
I'm going to throw them at you.
Yeah.
Yep, that'll teach you. Now it's gross, huh?
That is gross.
My turtle eggs. Why don't you eat my turtle's eggs?
Because those look bad. Those look like a stepped on ping pong ball.
They do.
I don't know. Okay, so no eating Dan's eggs.
No?
All right, fair enough.
Did that play out better in your head?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Could you tell?
Sorry, I didn't yes and you very well, but that just disturbs me.
Could you tell? Crystal and I started the board game Olympics, and the way it works is I decided that I wanted to keep track of how many times I won at board games throughout the year against Crystal. And at the end of the year, I don't know, there's a prize. The loser's got to like take the winner to dinner or something.
Seems fair. So where are you taking me?
Where are you going to take me to dinner? So I just wanted to do it on a piece of paper. And Crystal's like, let's get the computer and make a spreadsheet. You know, let's
You're gonna lose the paper, and we're always gonna be like, "Where's the paper? Which pile did you shuffle it into?" You love to quote unquote clean, where you just pick up things from around the house and stack them in a pile and put it somewhere, and usually under other things, so then I can't see where the things are. So when
There's
I can't
gotta
find
be a
something that I
name
know
for it.
was out,
Everybody's
is it
got
hamstering?
Is that what it
like
is?
gerbling? I don't know. Where you like make a little stash, you shove it in your cheeks a little bit.
There's literally names for everything. There has to be the name of my type of cleaning.
There is. Where's Clutterbug? Let's ask her.
That's right. She had that. She had the names.
She can tell
for
us your organization style, which
Yeah.
is unorganized chaos.
Maybe I need to take a BuzzFeed test where they're like, we'll tell you what organizations what style you are by your favorite cake. Or something stupid like
I could
stupid
tell
like
you by
that.
the various piles around this house.
They shift
It's
around
just chaos.
like
There's
the winds
no
of change.
rhyme or reason to it at all. Sometimes one stack will be picked up and put on top of another stack of items. And we're not talking like stacks of paper, stacks of items.
It's like a game where they like as soon as they connect, they're paired together forever.
It is. And then I have to like go through your stacks and be like, this doesn't even go here. It would take you just as much effort to just put things away. But instead you just pile them all up into piles so that you can clean off one surface. But then there's this teetering, unbalanced pile of crap somewhere.
It goes clockwise. It's just always like,
around the house
yeah,
clockwise.
Yeah, now it's spread out between my desk, which is by the front door, and the table behind me. I'm laying on the couch.
The
table
dining
behind me,
room
the
table.
dining room table.
Which I hate. As a child, like, my dad kept everything on the dining room table, and you'd have to, like, clear out just enough of a space that you could put your plate there. But God forbid you stacked his unorganized chaos piles, because there was a rhyme to his reason. And it was just a battle every time you had to sit down and eat. So to have stuff just piled on the dining room table works my last nerve.
You know, we had so many tables in our house growing up. We had the dining room table that nobody ate on. It was like that, and it had like this doily. It had this like long doily that went.
Was it like the Thanksgiving table? At Thanksgiving, everybody would sit there?
Yeah, there's 6 chairs at it. You know, 2, 2, 2, and 2. So
That's 8.
then 6. 2, 2, and then 2. This is as bad as my backgammon.
Backgammon.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I couldn't like do basic math last night trying to play that game.
Oh, it was bad. When you play games with Dan, you have to strategize your own game, and then when it's Dan's turn, you can't strategize your own game. You have to watch Dan
I appreciate
and make sure
it.
he's not inadvertently cheating. He
Sometimes
doesn't try to cheat.
It just happens.
He just like doesn't know how to count.
It's not that I can't. Well, it's like I was counting spaces, and then there was like
Just
somebody's
conveniently skipping over
pellets.
spaces.
Well, it's because your pellets were there.
But that space still counts when you're counting your moves.
Yeah, I'll admit I do need to be watched when I play games.
You do.
I don't want to be a cheater, and I'm not trying to cheat. It's just like 1, 2, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Pretty much.
I don't mean to.
I have to listen. I have to watch. I have to count.
So we had this big table in this living room that like nobody went into.
You had a Thanksgiving living room.
Yes. Oh, the whole Thanksgiving living room with the big tall clock and the couch with the flower print on it, and
The forever couch.
the forever couch. And so nobody goes in that room. That room just collected dust.
So weird. We did not have that in my house growing up.
Oh, you're
We had
so
no
lucky.
unused spaces.
It looked like a museum. It looked like a museum. And then in the other, like, and then there was a kitchen, and there was another big living room where the TV was, and it had one of those corner seats, like the wooden corner seats.
The little breakfast nook.
The breakfast nook, right? You know, with the well, you had one, but
Yeah.
the breakfast nook with the seats that went up and down for
The storage, yeah.
and a table. So we had that as well, and that's where everybody would sit at, except for the fact that we had TV trays that we used like every night. So it's like, here's a nice table, and then here's a functional table, and here's the mini version of the functional table.
Here's the lazy man's version.
Yeah, so we had that. So I always ate like on a TV tray, but we would literally only use that big table for maybe Christmas dinner, but I don't remember that because we'd be all Christmased out by noon. Well, all my mom, and we're Mexican, so we get tamales.
Tamales.
I know, which are 2 for $5 across the street.
Totally worth it.
That's so much money.
Totally worth it.
I went early to get tamales the other day, and because Chris was like, I want tamales. So I got up early, and I went over there, and she only had chicken tamales.
Wah, wah.
I know. She tried to give me the gringo price. I'm telling you.
Oh, for sure.
I'm telling you. There's no way that everybody's paying $5 for 2 of them.
No, that's the white people price.
Yeah.
For sure. If you can ask in fluent Spanish and have a conversation with her in Spanish, you get a better price. One time I asked her for the tamales in Spanish, and then she rattled off a bunch of Spanish back to me. And I just said, oh, no entiendo.
Oh.
And she said, $5, please.
Oh, dang. Yep, you got shut down.
Yep.
Yep, you totally got shut down. Yeah, so we wouldn't even use that table for Christmas. So it would only be used for Thanksgiving. We don't use that.
We did not have that.
Uh-uh.
We had to push stuff off the table so that we could eat our Thanksgiving dinner.
So back to the spreadsheet.
Oh, yeah.
So Crystal opens up the computer and she's all, Hoyman and the Maven, I'm going to keep track of it digitally. So she got this Google spreadsheet out. So now we're keeping track of all the games that we play and who's winning what.
Who's winning, Dan?
It's probably pretty close right now. Because,
No, it's not.
Because I won that game in overtime. I won one of the games in overtime. I felt so big. I was like, look at me.
You've won 3 games and I've won 6.
Yeah, okay, that's not bad. We tried to play this
not really
really
that
fast
close.
discarding game last night.
The one we're playing is called Blink, but I used to play it with a deck of playing cards, and it was called Speed.
Speed?
Yes.
Where it's like you got to hurry, place the cards down and stuff, you know? And you are so fast at that. You would lock up my brain while I'm trying to figure out which card I'm able to put down, and while you're just discarding and
You
discarding
can't think,
and
you just have to
discarding.
do.
So crazy. You're so
Yeah.
fast at that.
I'm really good at Speed. I played a lot of Speed.
I didn't play much of those.
You didn't have a little brother.
No.
No, eventually when Jason and I started getting along as like late teenager, early adults, we played a lot of games. And until we played that game, and what triggered it for me, it was so weird because I read all the instructions and I set the game up, and then I just instinctively put my hand on the discard pile to signal that I was ready to start, because that's what we would do. And as soon as I did that, I'm like, oh, I know this game. Like, I knew what to do, and like, I get it. Oh, this is speed. Here's how you play. Let's go. And then I whooped your butt like 20 times.
We played a lot of those games.
We didn't keep track of the score on that.
That was fun.
You got whooped.
That was fun. Yeah, so today we were at Target, and we'll get to why we were there in a little bit. Today we were at Target, and all the board games are 20% off. And I'm just like, Mom,
you have board games at home, Dan.
Board game.
You have so many games.
We spent a lot of time recently playing games at night.
We have.
It was nice. We didn't even have the TV on last night. We just watched or listened to music and then played board games.
Yes.
Yeah, that was nice. We're trying to cleanse ourselves after watching
trash TV.
But
you really have the worst taste in TV.
It's bad.
There are a few things that you've recommended that I'm like, this is great. Like, can you think of something that you suggested that we should watch that I really got into?
No.
No,
probably not.
There's things like I tolerated that were interesting enough, like Game of Thrones. Like, I would not have watched that on my own.
You seemed happy at the time. Is that the truth coming out now?
No, I told you all the way through I would not have watched that show on my own. But I got into it because you were watching it, but you constantly had to explain who was who, which is why I would never watch it on my own.
It's because
I would get confused.
It's because all their names were the same.
Yes, they were the same or rhyming, and they were all dressed the same, and they were all dirty the same. And unless they were like a midget or the blonde-haired chick with the dragons, I didn't know who they were when they just popped up on screen and they hadn't been there for 2 seasons. And you're just like, oh, that's Sir Baratheon of Lannister, and he was married to the cousin of the redhead.
That sounds right. No, that's right. There you go.
But it doesn't even matter what you say, because I just, okay, it's that guy. Whatever.
I think that's good. And then it's not like your picks are any better. It's either murder or it's let's watch the Real World reunion and watch them rehash out things from 40 years ago.
Oh, that was bad. I wanted it to be good.
I want it to be good too.
And it's not. They just keep arguing, and I hate Beth.
I do. I know.
Hate her. Nobody knows what we're talking about.
Oh, the Real World.
But you really do. Like, you want to watch just like. You've been putting on Cops lately?
I don't know what happened. Like, I'm just like.
Like, I have to ask myself, like, how does this make my life better? To watch these people travel across the country to argue with people they don't know, but they want to marry them. Like,
this is the other show we're watching. It's not Cops. That's not Cops.
Not Cops. But like, there's no value to it. I feel like I want to watch a documentary after I watch that.
Last night you were trying to give me a documentary cleansing.
I'm about to institute a rule. So when Blake was in school, during summer break, he would come to work with us. And, you know, kids tend to kind of forget what's going on over summer break. So in order to keep him busy for an 8-hour day, I would give him tasks and stuff, try to make the day go by faster, have him, you know, stay in his routine of doing work and stuff. So we'd do like math pages and practice your handwriting and practice your typing. And then once he finished all his stuff, he had free time. But I had to institute a rule that he had to watch 1 documentary a day.
What's the rules in the documentary?
I did not care what it was, as long as it was factual. Like, no mockumentaries.
What about wrestling documentaries?
He was never into that. That never came up. I'm sorry.
I like that. No mockumentary.
No, it had to be educational in some way, but he was allowed to choose what it was. He had to go find something he was interested in through Netflix or whatever else on the internet and watch a documentary. And I'm starting to think, Dan, it's time. Help yourself to more Thin Mints. It's not like we're recording and you're expected to talk or anything.
No, please keep talking.
I think you should watch a documentary a day. You have all these hours throughout the day when you're doing nothing and you're putting on garbage TV, and I come home and you're like, oh my God, watch this. And it's some weird, like, Honey Boo Boo. Like, it's just bad.
So you're telling me you don't watch this episode I had queued up to you of 40 Kids and Counting?
Absolutely not.
Where the lady had 40 kids. And
she did not have 40 kids. Her hoo-ha fell out.
What about
the babies started falling out just left and right.
It's on life support.
It's bad. No, you need to watch something educational, and then when I come home, you have to tell me what you learned. It's going to be like a little mini oral book report, but it's going to be an oral TV report, and it can't be about like current events. It's too depressing.
Okay.
We need like, can you watch something about Pompeii?
We watched that Pompeii movie the other day with.
No, we watched like 20 minutes of something with like Kiefer Sutherland in it. That's not.
And Jon Snow.
That's not a Pompeii documentary. And it doesn't have to be Pompeii. I'm just suggesting. You literally have an uncle that like deep sea dives to uncover like forgotten abandoned ships on the ocean floor. You can watch one of those. Those are interesting. I've watched a few.
I could do
Watch
that.
something interesting and that adds value and knowledge to your life.
I know, but like, there's this girl who's like 3'9", and like she can't go to the amusement park, so we get to watch her try to like live her life. Where she's like,
that's a BuzzFeed article.
all right.
Like you see the headline, and you're like, oh wow, oh look, she is short. Oh, she does look 8. Cool, I'm over it. Like, what more do you need to know?
That's pretty much exactly all that happened in the one episode.
Right.
I watched.
What more do you need to know? That's it. She exists. Good for her. Happily ever after.
I watch some good stuff sometimes. Like Curb Your Enthusiasm's good. A smart show. You know, sometimes just background junk.
I wouldn't call that trash TV, but it's not adding value.
No, you're right. Me and Blake just got done watching Peacemaker, which just I'm sure made us stupider.
I'm not saying that everything you watch has to make you smarter or teach you something. But something you watch should.
It's I mean,
somewhere along the way.
I learned.
You put TV on as background noise all week long. So let's say an average. I'm sure it's not the full 40 hours that I'm gone at work, but like 30 of them. Yeah, would you say?
I would say that television, while you're gone from 8 to like 5, and you come home for an hour lunch.
Yes.
Probably 3 hours of those a day the TV's on. Probably 3 of those hours. Because a lot of the times, like, unfortunately, because I have to have some sort of like background, something going on, because otherwise I'm just alone in the house.
Right.
So like, you know, I'll have something I don't have to pay attention to on. A lot of times, like when I'm doing the chores around the house, it's podcasts because I don't look at the TV.
Right.
But then when I'm editing and doing stuff, like I have to listen to what the people say. So then, like,
right,
I don't
okay.
have it on.
So 3 hours a day.
But every chance I get it.
That's 15 hours a week that you waste on garbage.
Well, I mean, it's like I need her. She's 1,000 pounds, and I need to know like about her 1,000-pound life.
But why? She's 1,000 pounds. Life is really difficult.
I learned.
Check.
I mean, I learned from the one we watched this weekend that it's really hard to find somebody on an overseas dating site and then date them,
especially when you're unwilling or unable to communicate.
Right.
Check. You've learned all you need to learn. Do we
right.
need to watch 2 seasons of it?
No, because the second season turned to like drama.
Oh, the first season was.
The first season was curiosity.
Dan, let's get back to the subject at hand. Can you make a commitment to watch at least one documentary a week?
Is Tiger King considered a documentary?
Absolutely not.
Are you sure?
I watched it. I can concur.
So I count.
Technically, it documented, but it is nothing of value. When I say a documentary, I need something of substance.
How about Hot Shots Part 2?
What?
Is that a documentary?
No. You need to go to the documentary section on your television viewing app of choice and choose something like historical.
The History Channel has a bunch of stuff, but it's all about
it's like Great Alaskan Fishing and crap.
Yeah.
It's not, no. And yes, lots of Hitler information.
Okay, I know, Crystal, but on this channel, it was like, hear me out. It was this couple, and it's called Off the Grid, where like, she's bougie and lives in the city, and she meets the dude who's off the grid, and now she's going to go live off the grid with him.
Sounds like wife swap.
Well, no, but like, she's going to live off the grid, so I need to know what happens when
she's gonna cry. She's gonna have a really difficult time. She's gonna wish she had her Starbucks. She's gonna be mad that there's no Wi-Fi. Cool, done.
That's probably all the season.
But like the other day,
that's
Dan,
probably full it.
Something happened.
Well, why did you let me?
I pulled up a picture of the mummified bodies at Pompeii, and I don't know why Pompeii always sticks with me. Mostly because you just had no idea that it was even a thing at some point in your life. I pulled up the picture and you're like, whoa, like these are real things?
Yeah, I thought they were photo ops.
No, they were photographs of like what they actually found.
Yeah,
and like
stand next to
the fact that you don't know that things exist in this world,
I mean,
bothers me.
It's in, like, I don't even know where Pompeii's at. It's like, it's got to be.
When we're done here, I'm finding a Pompeii documentary.
In Egypt or something.
I'm finding one tonight.
But like,
tonight you learn about Pompeii.
It didn't happen here.
No, it
So,
didn't.
Like, I don't have to like go
But it's
outside and not be
fascinating
careful
that it
about
happened.
I don't have to go outside and fear Pompeii.
I will give you that.
You
You
know,
do not.
like I'm not like, oh, the Pompeii's coming. Like I don't have to do that. So like it just wasn't on my radar.
But you don't like hear a story like that and can get fascinated. Yet you get fascinated by my 1,000-pound life and my 3'10" life.
That's tangible stuff that I can see with my eyes. Growing up, my history teacher talked to his coffee as he poured it from his thermos to his lid. Oh, that's some good hot coffee. Oh, that's some hot coffee.
Pretty sure I've
just
seen you talk to your food.
Talk to his coffee. Like he didn't
Yeah?
care. He didn't like spark interest. He looked like he had a desk job at the PD department. So like I don't know. I wasn't inspired. If it wasn't Jason and the Argonauts, like
What?
if they didn't make a movie about it, well, which they did, we didn't get to see the end of it. It was close. There was an earthquake happening, and I imagine the lava was coming.
From the earthquake?
Yeah, from the Pompeii.
Oh, yeah. From the you've cycled back around to the
Yeah,
movie
we're
we were
back
watching.
to Pompeii.
Oh.
But yeah, so there's a lot of stuff I don't know just because like it didn't happen outside. I know about earthquakes, like that sucks. And but like I don't have to learn about tornadoes because we don't have them here. I just fear them.
But you'd rather watch like storm watchers or storm chasers, like the people that are in their van trying to outrun the actual tornado.
What about the movie Twister? Is that a documentary?
No, it is not.
You sure I can't watch Twister?
It's not.
How about Sharknado? Is that
No.
factual events?
Oh my gosh, Dan. That's it. I'm picking your documentary.
Is that? Are you gonna make me a mega list?
I am.
It's like a
I think
mixtape?
that I have to,
It's
and you're gonna have to report back next week on the documentary that you watched.
Oh yeah, I can get a report.
We're
on
gonna
here.
have documentary corner here on not a podcast.
All right, that's
where
fair.
Dan watches a documentary
Don't-
and reports back on what he's learned, and then we compare what he thinks he's learned with what actually
Don't
happened.
pick me out stupid stuff. Pick me out rad stuff.
Rad stuff,
Yeah,
huh?
like-
what do you think is rad?
Get me like a good UFO documentary.
No, those aren't documentaries.
No,
No,
nothing about the aliens.
you're not watching
All right.
Ancient Aliens.
Then you know what? That's fine. I'll settle. Just give me a nice Bigfoot documentary.
No, No.
Loch Ness monster.
no.
What about the werewolf?
What?
Can we get a documentary on him?
No.
Dracula?
You can watch like a documentary on the history of the urban legend.
Of Transylvania?
We can find you something like that, sure. On the history of Vlad the Impaler,
Did he?
on whom Dracula was based.
I
Did you
want-
know that?
I did.
Oh, look at you.
I-
Do you
well, 'cause
do
I-
you want to watch
well,
a documentary about it?
It's because I played Castlevania.
Oh, Jesus Christ. It always comes back to video games.
So can I watch the Birth of Frankenstein's monster? Like, is that a documentary?
What?
I could like watch that.
The birth of Frank? He was not born.
Well, he was
He was
like
created.
He could have been hatched, but you don't know. You know?
We're still not eating your eggs.
All right, I'll watch a documentary that's real.
Okay. Can we request suggestions, documentary suggestions in the comments?
All right.
If anybody listening has a documentary that was educational in some way and historical and factual.
Does it have to be at the USA? Because all the USA facts suck. They're all old. Nobody's
You can
got
learn
new
about other
facts.
countries if you want, but here's the problem. You struggle to understand accents.
Well, like it could be an American.
An American telling the history of another country?
But all the documentaries in the US are all about old things.
Yeah.
Nobody did anything good recently.
No.
It's all old stuff.
Well, it's fascinating though.
I mean, I guess like I watched the Berlin Wall come down. Like that was a live documentary.
Do you know why it was there or why it came down?
It was there to separate the people. It came down because David Hasselhoff and Bush
I've heard enough.
brought down that wall. Bring down that wall. And the Domino's Pizza gave discounts.
It's the cat scratching.
It is.
Cat cameos.
I don't know which cat that could be.
It's not Mooch and it's not Rizzo.
They're
'cause-
almost all in sight.
Yeah.
Topo's over there struggling to live.
He's big.
Yeah, he's just laying there. All right, I'll do it. I'll try to make my TV watching a little bit better. But I'll tell you what, there's this one season of Married with Children that I
Nope.
have on.
No, look, and that's what I don't get to. Like, you already watched Married with Children, like, as it was on live as a child. And then you see it on Hulu or Netflix or whatever.
I'm like, oh,
and you're like,
nostalgia.
oh, let me check this out. So then you watch an episode, and then you continue to binge watch it. Like,
Well, it's just
hours of your
on.
life you can't get back.
It's on while I'm doing other stuff.
But if you had, like, something in the background, like, say, reciting the countries or state names or something. You could learn that.
Or 400 episodes
Can
of
we
Criminal
get some
Minds.
conjunction junction? Dan, I read books and watch documentaries. I'm allowed to watch some Criminal Minds.
You think I need to go back and watch some Schoolhouse Rock?
I think so.
Does that count as documentaries?
Yes, because it will teach you.
Will it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you'll have these songs, and you'll run around the house singing them instead of living La Vida Loca.
I mean, I guess. All right. Well, I'll find. Just make it. Isn't there like anything like space documentaries? Or,
there are absolutely
all the
space
documentaries are about the past. I need a future documentary.
That's not a documentary. That's a theory.
How about Star Wars?
No.